What's up, buddy, man? It's the Bronco with the Frog coming at you with another reaction video. Erling Bryne, the rifle winner, the people's champ of the 2023 Ballon d'Or trophy. That boy went from BVB Borussia Dortmund all the way over to the City, started hitting the ground running. I was one of those non-believers, especially after that Community Shield game against Liverpool. I was like, yeah, it ain't gonna work out. City like rocking with them false nines and stuff like that. Oh my gosh, Man City, bro. Treble on our ass. Erling done broke the Premier League goal scoring record. He was the leading scorer in the Champions League. All of that, man. It's been nothing but up. Shout out my boy Top Benz for making this video. Go get that boy to 40K. He always make class videos. Go subscribe to my gaming channel, Lil Bronco, for my FIFA series and my Walking Dead final season. Subscribe to me on Patreon for all my live game reactions. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all down below. How Erling Haaland became football's best striker. Let's see what go down.
A small Norwegian Erling Haaland grew up in a small Norwegian town where from just a young
Norwegian
age, his coaches knew he had what it took to be great. Everywhere Haaland has gone, he very quickly became the best player, scoring goal after goal and breaking record after record. But this was not luck. There was a calculated plan which has allowed Erling to rise to the top of football, where now, at 24 years old, he's already one of the greatest of all time.
It's goals, not what you want. I know a lot of people be coming out here, bro, Julian Alvarez is better. He's a better football player because he can pass the ball, he can dribble better, he can do this better, he can do that better. But who scores goals leading teams to victory better? Erling Bryne is a striker. So what does he do? He strikes. It's his damn job, man.
So, how did he do it? How did this little boy rise to the top of the sport and become football's best striker? This is the full story of Erling Haaland.
Erling Bryne. I was there when he broke the Premier League record.
Erling Haaland was born on the 21st of July 2000 in Leeds, England, but would only live there for the first 3 years of his life until he moved to his native country, Norway, after his father was forced into an early retirement from professional football.
Yeah, I was just finna say, I did actually hear that. Just why I wasn't shocked. He was born in Leeds. But so does that mean he could have used his dual nat clause to play for England, huh? Damn, England boys. Y'all do got Larry Lane over there though, so you know it ain't.
Erling's father plays a big role in this story, but what happened to him? Alfie Inge Haaland was a professional football player playing for Manchester City until one day he played against Manchester United and Roy Keane sought to end his career. Roy was looking for revenge for a tackle that Alfie made on him a couple of years prior, so during this Manchester derby, Keane went in to kill with one of the most brutal tackles in the history of football, and Alfie never recovered from this injury, having to retire and move back to...
Bro, if I'm Erling, it's like, bro, fool. What Roy Keane's son is so I can go and beat his little ass. You feel me? That's how I am if I'm Erling, boy. Roy Keane will be he will be my 13th reason why, boy. I have his name on a damn hit list. Anytime I see Roy Keane, even if he interviewing me, boy, I'm gonna be like, boy, hey, next interviewer, I'm not talking to Roy. You feel me? That's beef internally.
In Norway.
On site.
Erling was just a young boy at the time, but he definitely remembered this moment as he would be eager to avenge his father and take revenge on Manchester United. But we'll get to that soon. Now, living in Bryne, a small town in Norway with a population of 12,000 people, Haaland was hardly living in a football capital, but from a young age, he was destined to be an athlete, because even his mother was a professional athlete competing in the heptathlon. Really? As a child, Haaland played in pretty much every sport
imaginable. You gotta have some stamina to be in a heptathlon.
And still holding a world record for his age in the standing long jump at just 5 years
really?
old. Still holding a world. Haaland played in pretty much every sport imaginable, even breaking and still holding a world record for his age in the standing long jump at...
That boy has a Guinness Book of World Record, 5 years old at long jump, showing that boy was a goddamn athletic specimen. His mama was a heptathlon lady. That's the people who perform in every single event, like the 100, 200, 400. They do the hurdles, and they do all of that. You know, I was watching it in the Olympics, and then his daddy was a professional footballer. They made it, and then they breeded that boy, Erling Bryne, man. Hey, man, I need to make me arrange me a little orange mirrors to make me a physical specimen like him. Too bad I ain't really got too many perks. Shit, I'm about 5'7". I'm skinny as hell. That's why I need to find me a WNBA player or something. I need me Liz Cameron. She about 7 feet tall. So she's 7 feet. I'm 5'7". I'm still athletic. Don't get me twisted. She's 7 feet tall. Mix her height with my athleticism. Baby, at least be about, shit, what? 6'7", 6'8", you feel me? Come on now.
5 years old. This is about the time when his football journey began as he joined the Bryne Academy, and right from the start, the coaches saw he was special. He was instantly promoted to train with the older kids, and despite being smaller than everyone at the time, he still scored goals for fun. Erling took a while to grow into his stature as he played the majority of his youth as a small player, which his coaches say forced him to adapt and is something he benefits from today. The dedication we see within Erling today was something that was innate with him because his youth coach had this to say about him. He often trained alone as a child, doing exercises over and over again because he had this big goal in mind to make it to the top. And by the age of 15, things would start to get in motion as he made his senior team debut for Bryne's second team. And within 5 days, he would score his first senior goal, marking the start of Haaland's career. But things wouldn't go so smoothly right away.
Why not? I know he scored 9 goals.
At 16 years old, heading into his second season, Haaland was hoping to break into the first team. He had been electric with the reserve team, scoring 18 goals in 14 matches, and even scoring his first career hat-trick. But the same wasn't the case when he got the chance to play with the first team.
Oh, because these are grown men. Like he said, it took Erling a while to grow into his stature. These are some pretty stocky dudes.
He never really managed to break through, being initially played as a winger, and in this season, he played 16 games and scored 0 goals. But despite this poor output, bigger clubs in the country were still interested in the talent. So, on the 1st of February 2017, Erling Haaland made the move to Molde to play for one of Norway's biggest clubs. The manager of Molde was the Norwegian legend Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who was definitely the right man to coach Haaland into becoming a great striker. And after 2 months with the team, he was finally given the opportunity to make his debut, and Haaland did not waste it, scoring. And he even went on to finish his season with 4 goals in 20 appearances. Heading into his second season, Haaland matched that 4-goal tally within his first 21 minutes of action, scoring all 4 in a 4-0 victory on the 1st of July. In the very next game, he scored a brace as he then went on to finish this season as Molde's top scorer with 16 goals in 2 games, in 30 matches, as he was starting to look like the Haaland we know and love today. Now, at this point, there were a number of European clubs lurking around Erling, but this is where his strategy came into play. Erling and his father knew the value of getting minutes on the pitch as a young player and made sure that whatever club he would sign for would guarantee him a starting spot. He didn't care for a little extra money to rotate on and off the bench. All he wanted to do was play.
Yeah, of course he don't care about no little extra money. His daddy was a damn professional footballer. He ain't yearning for no money.
Where RB Salzburg came in as the perfect destination, as they could guarantee him enough minutes. So, on the 1st of January 2019, an 18-year-old Erling Haaland moved to Austria to take the next step in his career, and boy,
he fit right in. That boy
things
looked
about
like
to
a damn
get
Austrian.
crazy for him. On the 17th of February 2018, Haaland made his debut, but it took him till the 12th of May to score his first goal for the club. We can count this half season as a warm-up period because heading into the summer, Haaland was about to start making international headlines. During the Under-20 World Cup, Haaland scored 9 goals in a single game as Norway defeated Honduras 12-0. As Haaland returned back to club football, he kept this form up, scoring his first club hat-trick on the 19th of July, and his
we just go glance over the fact that he scored 9 goals in a single match. I thought he was going to talk about it a little bit more because that is an amazing feat. Is that not a record? For goals by one person, bro. 9 goals by one person. Are we glancing over this?
Hat-trick 20 days later. This electric start to the season saw Haaland get called up to the Norway senior squad for the first time, but unfortunately for him, the national team does not play a major part in his story as they failed to reach any international tournament since his debut.
And people try to use that to slight him, bro. The reason he ain't got bad in Norway, bro, Haaland didn't even make the World Cup, bro. He plays for Norway. Who plays for Norway besides him and goddamn Odegaard and stuff? Like, come on, bro. Look at the different countries. Look at Argentina team versus the Norwegian team.
Part in his story as they failed to reach any international tournament since his debut. But anyway, just 1 month after this, he picked up yet another hat-trick, making his 6th consecutive game with a goal. Haaland was on fire, but 3 days later, he was heading into his Champions League debut, and boy, did he step up. He scored 3 goals in the first half, to become the only ever player to score a hat-trick on his Champions League debut.
Hey.
And something very telling about this match
You find
is
out
what
he
Haaland
featured
did
Mr. Champions
after the
League.
match. Right after this game, Haaland's family wished to celebrate, so they all went to his home for a beer. But instead of joining them, Erling got back in the car at 1 a.m. and drove to the training center to be able to do his recovery routine. Haaland's father says that it's at this point that he knew his son meant business.
Yeah, nah, for real. He said, oh, my son's better than I ever was. He say, I ought to celebrate with that pint of beer. He ain't give a damn. His daddy probably never scored a damn hat trick in the Champions League. Who knows if he scored a hat trick in general? I don't know what position he played. But he say, hey, if I was my son, I ought to been down to myself in beers. But he know this new generation of players, they bought that business. Erling say he bought that money. Erling say he's generational talent. Just not know a random bloke in the middle of the pack, just like Dad, just like Pa. He want to be better than Pa. And I'm sure Pa is proud of that.
The way Erling describes this moment is that it was a turning point. I was thinking after the game, okay, what's next? I cannot stop now.
Nah,
now
for
people
real.
actually start to look at me. I'm going to perform. For me, it was important that I could keep doing this not only one time, but several times. Even his teammates describe him as a perfect professional. While we're playing cards on trips away, you can only see him reading some scientific article on how he can improve his sleep or diet. He's always looking for the smallest details that he can improve to take another step forward. In Haaland's next Champions League game, he scored against Liverpool. In the one after, he scored a brace against Napoli. Then, in his fourth game, he scored yet again against Napoli. And in his fifth game, he came off the bench to score a goal against Genk. Meaning at 18 years old, Erling Haaland had scored 8 goals in his first 5 Champions League games, making him the tournament's top scorer at the time. Unfortunately, though, he was not able to make it a perfect run, being unable to score in their final group stage game, as RB Salzburg were eliminated from the competition. But after just 6 months at the club, Erling Haaland was the talk of Europe, and with the January transfer window approaching, he was in a position to choose between many of Europe's top clubs to take his game to the next level. So he wasn't there no type of time, huh? Manchester United, Juventus, and Borussia Dortmund were all interested in signing the young striker, but yet again, we see the intelligent side of Haaland.
Boy, if he would have went to Man United, boy, that would have ruined the trajectory of his whole career. Hell, Juventus too. I'm glad he chose Borussia Dortmund, who knows how to develop talent on top of talent.
The young striker, but yet again, we see the intelligent side of Haaland as he rejected the bigger clubs because of the risk of warming the bench and instead opted for Borussia Dortmund, who were able to promise him that starting position. So, on the 29th of December 2019, Haaland made a €20 million move, signing a 4.5-year contract for Borussia Dortmund as they paid his release clause. Haaland finished his time in Salzburg with 29 goals in 28 matches.
That's all he spent? I know Salzburg was probably like sad. Well, I guess you wouldn't say they was sad because they did make money because they paid 20-something million on his release or whatever. But 29 goals, he only played 28 matches. That's only like one season.
Now it was time to take on a bigger league with bigger teams, and as usual, Haaland rose to the challenge. He made his debut on the 18th of January in a Bundesliga game against Augsburg, where he came on at halftime and scored a 23-minute hat-trick to...
Bro, oh my God. This man Haaland, destined for greatness. I didn't realize he did all of this. You could see the signs in there. And we really sat here and thought, like, bro, it ain't really gonna work with City. Oh, man.
Secure a 5-3 win. 6 days later, he played his second game for Dortmund, where he came off the bench and bagged a brace, making him the first player in history to score 5 goals in his first 2 Bundesliga games. And remember, he did this with only 56 minutes of play time. He was named as the January Player of the Month with less than 1 on the pitch, and he wasn't slowing down anytime soon. In his third game for the club against Berlin, he scored yet another brace as Dortmund were licking their lips at the bargain they had just signed. Come the 18th of February, Haaland would be heading into the Champions League round of 16 against PSG, and of course, he scored a brace as Dortmund beat PSG in the first leg, but unfortunately for Haaland, PSG came back strong in the return fixture to win 2-0 and send him home. The Champions League has always been Haaland's dream. He says that his alarm clock is the Champions League anthem, so he wakes up every day to the sound of it to remind him of what he's chasing. So this exit definitely must have stung, but as you know, he would eventually get that trophy in his hands, just not quite yet. He finished his first season in Germany with 44 goals in 40 appearances across all competitions, as he was now being discussed as the best young player in world football. Now entering his second season in Germany, Haaland carried the same form into it, picking up a brace in the opening game. 1 month later, he scored 4 goals in just 32 minutes of football, playing away against Hertha Berlin, and as the Champions League resumed, Haaland wasn't playing about, scoring 6 goals in his first 4 games, making him the fastest player in the history of the tournament to reach 15 goals. But hours before he was supposed to play in their 5th Champions League game, he would suffer a hamstring injury, leaving him out for over 2 months.
Bro, I was just finna bring up, like, with all of these stats and bringing up, it's the fact that a lot of y'all Messi fans hate on Haaland or downplay his accomplishment, talking about some, oh, he does just score goals and all of that, when you just keep yourself from appreciating greatness. Haaland is a great-ass player, greatness, the best striker of this generation, hands down.
Not to worry,
the new generation.
Just more time for Erling to study how he can further optimize his game, fitness, and recovery. On the 9th of January, he returned, and it was like he never left, bagging a brace against RB Leipzig, and 1 month later, he returned to the Champions League, scoring a brace against Sevilla in the first leg of the knockout stages. The influence Haaland was starting to have on the pitch can really be shown in their Bundesliga matchup against Bayern Munich, as Haaland scored twice within 10 minutes to give Dortmund a 2-0 lead, until he picked up a knock and had to leave the pitch injured. Without Haaland on the pitch, Dortmund capitulated as Bayern gained a confidence boost, ending the game 4-2. Erling Haaland had become the focal point of this Dortmund team, and he was loving it, picking up another brace in the return fixture against Sevilla, sending Dortmund to their quarterfinals where, unfortunately, they got knocked out by Man City. But Dortmund and Haaland wouldn't be ending this in trophyless, as they were able to lift the DFB Pokal thanks to an Erling Haaland brace in the final. He ended this season with 41 goals in all competitions, as he was voted the Bundesliga Player of the Season. And heading into Haaland's 3rd and final season at Dortmund, things had pretty much become routine for him.
It's crazy, you know he good, because he got Player of the Season over the likes of Robert Lewandowski.
As usual, he started the season off strong, this time with a hat-trick in the first round of the DFB Pokal and a brace in the Bundesliga opener against Eintracht Frankfurt. Haaland did pick up an injury this year, which saw him out for October until the 27th of November, where he returned to score his 50th Bundesliga goal, becoming the youngest and fastest player to reach that feat. As the year turned, he picked up another injury, which saw him out from the end of January until March. And
3 months.
As this season drew to a close, he had only managed to play 30 games across all competitions, but still picked up 29 goals and 8 assists. No silverware was won this season, but that was often the case in Germany, unless you played for Bayern Munich. But now, after 3 seasons in Germany and established as one of the world's best strikers,
it was only 3 years he was there.
Step in his career and finally moved to a
I
big
thought he
club
was there longer
and
than
start
that. I don't
winning
know
big
why.
trophies. Thankfully for Erling, during his initial contract negotiations with Dortmund, his father and agent Mino Raiola were clever enough to insert a relatively low release clause of 60 million euros, meaning most of Europe's top clubs could afford it, and yet again,
I ain't gonna lie, when this move first happened, I did look at it as cheating. The goddamn rich getting richer. Y'all not tired of the best clubs still stacking talent with the best talent, bro? I'm tired of it.
Haaland had the choice of where to move. So after 67 appearances and 62 goals for Borussia Dortmund, Haaland announced he will be signing for Manchester City, as he was ready to...
But then again, his daddy used to play for them, so I can't blame him. You know, I can't blame that boy for going there. He want to be like daddy, but still, the shit, no, it's not fair, man.
Become the best striker in world football and pay homage to his father, who played for the club over 20 years ago. Oh, and also take revenge on Man United.
Yo.
Erling Haaland's first season at City is truly a magical one. And once he arrived, he addressed the fans simply saying, "We're going to have a good time together." Haaland was joining a Man City team who had won back-to-back Premier League titles, playing without a striker. So now adding one of the world's best strikers was definitely a recipe for success. Ever since Aguero left, Guardiola had been unable to replace him, and he didn't think it would be possible.
Y'all remember that? Oh, he's unreplaceable. Oh, he is. They were Erling Haaland. Haaland. I bet you Early probably joking his ass at that in the locker room. I joke his ass. As soon as I broke the Premier League goal scoring record, I'm unreplaceable, eh?
We cannot replace him. We cannot.
But not only would Haaland prove to be a replacement, he would somehow be an upgrade as he hit the ground running, scoring a brace on his league debut against West Ham. Just 20 days later, he scored his first Premier League hat-trick in a 4-2 win against Crystal Palace. And then, just 4 more days later, he scored another hat-trick, this time a perfect one in a 6-0 win against Nottingham
I remember
Forest.
this one.
He was named the Player of the Month
This one
for
I was
his
doing my
very
Premier
first
League,
month in the
week
Premier
reviews.
League, reminiscent of what happened for Dortmund in Germany. At the start of September, Haaland would get to play in his favorite competition once more as he scored a brace in City's Champions League opener against Sevilla, and just the very next Champions League game, he would score one of his greatest goals with a late acrobatic winner against his old club Dortmund. But come the 2nd of October, the day Erling Haaland had been waiting for his entire career came. He was finally facing off against Manchester United and was finally able to take revenge on the club that destroyed his father's career, and boy did he deliver. Manchester City demolished their rivals 6-3 as Haaland scored yet another Premier League hat-trick to embarrass United. Alfie definitely enjoyed that one. Come January, Haaland scored his 4th Premier League hat-trick of the season against Wolves, which meant he had just hit the 25-goal mark in only 19 games. To put this into perspective, this was more than the previous season's Golden Boot winners Son and Salah, who scored 23 across the entire season. Manchester City and Erling Haaland were a truly frightening force, and heading into the Champions League knockout stages, business just carried on as usual, as Haaland put 5 past RB Leipzig to match the record for the most goals scored in a Champions League match.
And they looked at this and was like, bro, we got to give it to Ankara Messi. Like, bro, come on, fool. Let that boy Erling get his shine, man. It is a new era. Let these new boys eat. Let somebody else eat for a change.
On the 11th of April, Haaland scored the 3rd goal of City's 3-0 win in the Champions League quarterfinals against Bayern Munich, which was his 45th goal of the season, meaning he had already broken the record for total goals by a Premier League player in a single season. And by this point in the season, City were thriving in all competitions, and treble talk was on everyone's lips, but surely they were going to slip in the Champions League. They'd got so close so many times, but just fallen short. On the 20th of May, Haaland and City won the first trophy of the season as they were named Premier League champions. Erling Haaland finished the Premier League campaign with 36 goals, smashing the all-time scoring record in just his first season there.
And I was there, like I said, at the Arsenal game when he scored the goal to break it.
2 weeks later, City played the FA Cup final against Man United, where Haaland played the full match but didn't have a large impact. Despite this, City still defeated Manchester United for him to lift his 2nd trophy of the season. One game was left this year, the game Haaland dreamed his whole life of playing in. The anthem he would wake up to every morning. He had a chance to lift the Champions League trophy, and thanks to a Rodri stunner, City defeated Inter Milan 1-0 to lift the Champions League and become the 2nd English club to ever win the treble.
Let's not forget that a lot of y'all before this game was like Inter Milan was gonna win because they won damn Champions Leagues in the fucking 80s. In the 70s, oh, Inter Milan has history. They have won it before. Everybody on the roster wasn't born yet, but they still have won it before. Man, if y'all don't stop with this history nonsense, I live in the present day. Man, City should win this hoe. Hands down, and that's what they did.
As Erling Haaland wrote his name in the history of football. Haaland finished this season having played 53 games and scoring 52 goals. He won the European Golden Boot, the Premier League and Champions League Player of the Season award, and was named 2nd in the Ballon d'Or behind Lionel Messi, making for a truly iconic season. But if you think Erling Haaland was done here, you would be wrong, because he was even hungrier than ever before to come back and perform in the next season. Now entering the 23-24 season, business continued as usual. Haaland bagged a brace in the opener against Burnley, City won the Super Cup against Sevilla, and by just the 2nd of September, he scored his first hat-trick of the season. 2 months later, on the 29th of October, Haaland's favorite game of the season came round yet again as he faced Man United at Old Trafford, and this time he scored 2 and assisted 1 as City won 3-0, and he continues to get revenge for his father. In December of this year, Haaland faced the worst injury of his career so far as he suffered a stress injury in his foot, leaving him out for 2 months. During his timeout, Haaland was able to catch up on all the latest Top Bins videos.
Hey, go subscribe to Top Bins, bro.
Like you should too.
Like I say, best videos, bro.
He was ready for action once more. This season, City were in a title race with Arsenal, and for the majority of it, Arsenal were in the driving seat. As the season progressed, Haaland started to receive criticism on his all-round play.
His general play is so poor.
Is that Keane? That's Roy Keane right there. Hey, man, shut your hating ass up, man. Somebody come smack his ass. Where Erling Daddy at? You need to get your revenge. He out here hating.
Not just today. I think his general is laying stuff off, living headers or whatever it might be. In terms of front of goal, he's the best in the world. But for his general play, for such a player, it is so poor. Not just today. I think he has to improve that. He's almost like a League Two player. That's the way I look at him.
But Roy might just be a bit bitter from all the Old Trafford beatings.
He called that boy a League Two player, and nobody on the stand checked him. I guess they scared of him or something like that, man.
The season didn't go City's way in Europe, as they were knocked out in the quarterfinals by Real Madrid. But thankfully, they managed to get hold of the Premier League at the very end with a win against Spurs to send City top of the table with one game to spare. And then a 3-1 victory over West Ham secured them the Premier League title, and Haaland, his second 1 victory over West Ham, secured them the Premier League title, and Haaland, his second Golden Boot with 27 goals in 31 matches that season. There was one more game to play, which was the FA Cup final, but unfortunately, Man United finally got the better of Haaland as they won the game 2-0. Now entering his third season at Man City, Erling Haaland looks better than ever. He's had an electric start and will most likely win another Premier League and another Golden Boot, as he has already cemented himself as one of the greatest football players of all time. At 24 years old, Haaland's goal stats are pretty much in...
Bro, I'm older than... Hold on. Oh, I am older than him. Yeah, I'm tripping. That boy was born in 2000.
Line with Messi and Ronaldo at the same age,
which
is some crazy statistic.
Hold on, what that stat say? Goals at the age of 24. More goals than Messi, and that boy Ronaldo. But this is before Messi's 91 goals in a calendar year, right? But he's still on a crazy-ass pace.
Ronaldo at the same
and in less games.
Age, which is some crazy statistic. And if he continues like this, he could very well go down in history as one of the greatest of all time.
Nah, for real.
Now, if you enjoyed this video, the one on screen is
I already know we gotta hit that Vinny. Hey, go subscribe to Top Ends. We gonna hit that Vinny video as soon as that boy win his rightful own Ballon d'Or. But how Erling Haaland became football's best striker, the story of Erling Haaland class video as always. Hand clap for that boy Top Ends. Erling Bryne already have 1 Ballon d'Or, but if he continue he had a great start to the season. If he continue it on, he should win his first Ballon d'Or at the end of this season for the year of 2025. Hey, I'm out.